My glasses are distracting. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wangi and I do true crime and sometimes conspiracy and scary content. As you can see from the title, we're doing the very controversial and confusing case of the Tembisa 10 today. Before we start, I really want to point out that a lot of times when I tell my stories, I'm telling them as kind of a, what do you call this, to put them out in the media again. Have you noticed the story of the Tembisa 10 has kind of like disappeared off the media? And I will tell you what I think of the story or which conspiracy I believe, because there's a lot of shadiness around the story that is just, I don't know what to think of it. But I'll let you know at the end of the video what I think is true and what I doubt. A lot of the stories I do them for awareness, right? You have to be aware in any country you live in, guys. Come on, you have to be aware of the things that are going on around you so you can be more alert and know that these things are happening so you yourself can protect yourself in the future. So this is a disclaimer. Nothing happened or anything, but I feel like I need to tell people why I do what I do. Okay, so you guys know that a lot of the stories I do are true crime, meaning that it's without a doubt proven that something happened to these individuals. Either they're serial killers or just someone passed away in a way that it was documented. Because like I say, in South Africa, there's this whole thing where I don't trust the police. I don't want to lie. You might, but I don't. You might, but I don't. I don't trust the police. Like, one thing I'm afraid of is dying in South Africa and my case not even being followed, because I don't have trust that they will find the person who finished me. And I'm like, guys, I don't want to lie, I will poker the person who killed me. So yeah, for this case, it is a very tricky, confusing case that is riddled with conspiracies and people being on the low, and is it a lie, is it true? And I want to say the government is involved, private investigations involved, lawyers are involved, and to this day no one is sure what the hell happened. So I will give you all the facts, I will give you my opinion, and then you can form your own opinion too from all of this, and you can tell me on the comments what you think happened or whether you think this is true or not. At the end of 2020 to early 2021, we were hit. Every news outlet in South Africa, okay, were bombarding us with this news, right? That Sithole Rampedi broke out from independent media. Broke it out. Listen, in Tembisa, there is a woman who has given, or who's pregnant with, is it called dissect? I don't know how to pronounce it. Basically 10 babies, okay? This, by the way, was big. It was big, from SABC1 to ETV to independent news stations all over South Africa, and I'm sure outside of South Africa too, like our neighboring countries like Zim and Namibia. It was everywhere. And the reason why this was big is because for the first time in history, this was the first disciplined, documented, looking like she was going to go full term with it, situation. So of course, this is once in a lifetime. This is the first time it's ever happened that someone successfully has given birth to 10 babies. So much so that she, I think, was indicted in the Guinness World Record, because this is the first of its kind, guys. So this is why this was big, because you're gonna be in the Guinness World Record, you popping out 10 babies, babe. And I believe it was naturally too, so it was like a first of its kind where it was a natural occurrence, because I'm sure the people who have given birth to like 6-7 babies, but a lot of them had help via IVF, but she naturally conceived 10 babies. Are you dumb? That is so of course this news spreads because this is amazing, this is wonderful, and anything that has to do with the country being the first of anything, the government is within. The government is trying to take credit like they were the ones cooking the babies in their wombs. This world record wants to indict them, and the media dubs them the Tembisa 10. She gives birth. People are now anticipating to see the babies. Already when the news was breaking, some people were like, kind of giving it the side eye, like, wow, 10 babies, okay, that's great, but let's see the babies. Shortly after the news broke, a second story broke out, and the second story was that it was all a hoax. This was a bit confusing to people in South Africa because we have seen the picture of, sorry if I butcher her name, but her name is Siame Sitole, and the dad is Tebuho Totsetse. So those are the parents. Here's where it gets confusing. So I want you guys to keep in mind that, one, no one knows what's right or what's wrong. And remember, Rampedi is the journalist who broke the news, right? So people were side-eyeing Rampedi as in, did you really create a fake story, bruh? Well, that's kind of whack. And Rampedi's source was the father. Get it? The source was the father of the babies. So now the father of the babies broke a statement, or the family rather, and him too, broke a statement saying, no, they are no babies. And I think my girlfriend, because they were not married. I forgot to mention the most shocking part, guys, and that's that they were not married. She was the side chick. She was the side chick. I think my girlfriend lied. First of all, sir, you're the one who went to Rampedi and you said your girlfriend's giving birth to 10 babies. Now you're doubling back and you're saying there were no 10 babies. Mistake number one. Red flag number one. So now the Scrutiny, and Rampedi works for independent media, by the way. Now the Scrutiny is all pointing to Rampedi and his news outlet, like independent media. They all look at him like, were you really that desperate to break out some news, right? That you would lie about something so big that the Guinness World Record wants to document it. Now it's not embarrassing nationally, now it's embarrassing internationally, right? And Rampedi at first stands by his words. He's like, I know what I know, and he said what he said. You can't take it back. He said it. But now consequences are, if that man really was lying, it's still on you as the journalist to confirm the facts. You can't just take someone's word just because they're a source for it, even though it might be tempting because that person is allegedly the father. But journalism has the ethics you have to follow. Journalism ethics. I don't know if it's like a doctor where you sign and say I'm sure it is, because they took it very seriously and it got so big. They're like, okay, the government has to launch an investigation because now the government's involved. Né? Like I told you, the government likes to act when things are good. The government likes to act like they're the ones who are raising these kids. So now the government's taking personal offense. So the government gets in touch with the Department of Health from the Gauteng sector, because every baby that's born will be documented, right? So they try to draw up the documentation to see if it is for a fact that these 10 babies were born, or at least there are some type of medical records of her being pregnant with 10 babies. The records come back, no 10 babies. No pregnancy even. No, 10 babies. Now the whole nation's confused. Article after article after article is coming out. 10 babies. There were no 10 babies. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. Rampedi's name dragged through the mud because now you're shady as a journalist. You're reporting fake news, right? This got so bad that Rampedi had to apologize. I think he put out some type of a statement where he was apologizing, but he was not really retracting what he wrote, if that makes sense. He was not really retracting. And the company he works for, I think it's Independent News Media or Media News, they doubled down. Instead of going, okay, yeah, because now the government is involved, and like I said, journalists have a code of ethics that they have to adhere to, and now the government's getting involved because if you're spreading fake news, that's bad, it's unethical. Now the government's investigating the media outlets that Rampedi works for to say, yeah, was shady. Independent media, I'm gonna call them independent media. They doubled down. Instead of going, yeah, we apologize, we shouldn't really have, should they believe Rampedi, and they decide we're gonna launch our own investigation. The government didn't really even investigate the case properly. They just took out records and they went, yeah, there were no babies recorded, so it is what it is. And then the government then pivoted and started investigating independent news. Then independent news started investigating the government. See, like, you guys are being shady because your investigation was not thorough enough. Fast forward to a couple of months, right, into the whole thing. The mother is nowhere to be seen. First, I guess the investigation went, listen, they do exist, but not all of the children survived, right? Not all of the 10 children survived. I think 2 or 3 of them passed away during the whole process of being birthed, right? Okay, then let us see the kids who did survive, right? But the mother disappears off of the face of the earth. Now it's even more confusing. Now where did the mom go? Right? This is where independent media news comes and they like, listen, we are doing an investigation. The mother cannot show her face or the children's face for her own safety. Safety. What beteken jy safety? Right? What do you mean safety? Boom. 2 or 3 months from this month, December, independent media came out with a statement that really shook South Africa. And I feel like it didn't shake South Africa enough because the fact that people are not scared, appalled, worried, still questioning, and why this is not still circulating news is beyond me, right? So in the kind of statement, the panel was Advocate Michael Donnan, Dr. Paul Poor, and Iqbal Server. I sorry if I butchered their names. They come out with a statement, right? I believe Advocate Michael was hired by the government. So the government put out an investigation, right? And they said, hey, we need you to investigate Rampedi so we can act on it if he's breaking the ethics code, journalism ethics code. Cool, the lawyer does the investigation and he comes back in the statement and he sits and he goes and says that I did an investigation and it looks like Mr. Tolle really was pregnant. Okay, he confirmed this with the churchgoers, with the people in the neighborhood, with his fam, with her family, with her friends, and it's confirmed that she was pregnant. But he can't confirm that she was pregnant with like 10 babies. Okay, cool. Independent media's lawyer comes up and he spills tea. He says that they did their own investigation, and in that investigation they found out that Tembisa Hospital and 3 others are involved in human trafficking ring. So the hospital that she actually gave birth in is called Steve Biko Academic Hospital. So Steve Biko Academic Hospital, including Tembisa Hospital and I believe 3 others, are involved in this whole trafficking ring. And they found that the doctor who was actually giving birth, who was helping Mr. Tolle give birth, I believe is a Nigerian doctor who went under a certain pseudonym and basically disappeared with 3 of the kids. So during the time of the birth, she was told 2 of her kids died because they were launched in her fallopian tubes. So she had like a ectopic pregnancy. She was believed to have an ectopic pregnancy with 2 of them, and then 1 of them died during birth, and then 7 of them, or 6, were alive. Apparently those 3 kids who were said to be passed were actually trafficked. And they said that a bunch of doctors, they have the names of the doctors, the nurses, even the government officials who were involved in this trafficking, and they document some of the kids as missing, dead. But if you come in and you're giving and you have given birth to twins, they'll say one of your twin has died and the other survived, and you'll only go home with 1 twin. And this supposedly is especially done to young black mothers. And before that, Ms. Tolle had said to the investigators that during the whole process of her giving birth, obviously she can't afford 10 kids, right? She's not financially stable enough. The doctor, the alleged Nigerian doctor who was helping her give birth, told her, listen, if you give birth at this particular hospital, it's some private hospital, we'll help you take the kids and give them up for adoption, right? And we'll cover the cost of the birth and whatnot. So that's why she agreed to give birth at the private hospital that she gave birth to. So now independent news is coming with this big statement that, listen, we have the name of the doctors, the name of the nurses who helped, the name of the officials who faked the documents of death, the name of the government officials involved in this human trafficking ring. So now shit's hitting the fan, because it's starting to, for me personally, to make a little bit more sense why the government didn't investigate it enough. I mean, why didn't you really investigate it enough, especially when the government was giving you so much pressure? I mean, the public was giving you so much pressure to find out what happened to the kids. But it's also being shady, because independent media is saying we'll come out with all the names of the doctors, etc., with a documentary that we'll be doing. It almost seems like they want to promote this documentary. And I remember one journalist asked, why can't you just provide us with the details now? People want to know what happened to the kids now. And they're like, no, we can't now. My worry is, if it's true, the government's gonna find a way to stop you from releasing the documentary. You should have played your cards like close, because now the government is going to try and make sure that those people are not exposed. Because if the government is involved in this whole thing, and they said that these kids are being trafficked to West Africa, America, and Europe. They were very specific about it, as if they really knew something. So now what we can do is just wait. That's literally all we can do, is just wait for independent media to release the documentary with all the thingies. But as far as for the mom is still, I guess, hidden, so that no harm can come to her and the remaining babies, allegedly. But according to other news outlets, it's all hoax. But she was pregnant. And she did give birth. Where her medical records? Do you know what I mean? With independent media, it looks like they do want to profit off of the story a lot, more than them wanting to do this whole thing of, oh, we want to help young black mothers who are being exploited in this way. It's all shady business. So yeah, that's the story of the Tembisa 10. Still to this day, we're still waiting for the documentary. The last thing that independent media said that they were gonna come up with the thingy, I think the statement was made last month. So October last month? Yeah, November was last month. November. So we're waiting for independent media to release the documentary exposing all these doctors. I'm still wondering if the government's involved. Instead of answering our questions, I feel like it's just gonna make us doubt, and the only thing we can do is wait and see. So yeah, thank you guys for joining me today, and yeah, that was the story of the Tembisa 10. So tell me what you guys think at the bottom, the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later.